Hello and welcome to the Powerful Personal Brand Podcast, where I and my guests share tips to help and inspire you to build a great personal brand to increase your visibility and authority. I am your host, Claire Vaughn, and on today's episode, I am so excited to be joined by Kahn. You say that there are 4 words that can transform sales. What are those words?
Well, if you're open to it, I will give you a little lead up to them. Would that be okay? All right. Well,
sure.
I like to set it up like that. I actually already told you what they are. And if you're watching this, you see in my background of my, video studio is a pillow that says, "Are you open to?" And those really are the 4 magic words. And I'll tell you why they're so great. There was a study done by Pepperdine University a number of years ago, and they asked people, do you consider yourself more open-minded than the average person? And 95% of respondents said yes. Now, I don't know where you went to school, Claire, but back in the old days when we studied old math, those numbers don't work. 95% of us cannot be better than the average. But if we think about that from an identity perspective, we all want to be known as somebody who is open-minded. So it's much harder for me to tell you no when you ask me if I'm open to something. It's very easy for me to say no to an invitation, to see if I'm interested in something. Hey, I do branding coaching. Are you interested in learning more? No, because there's sorry, I shouldn't have picked your example. Everybody should be interested in that.
Right.
But it's easy to say, no, I'm not interested, because that has no impact on who I am as a human being. But if you say, hey, are you open to having a conversation to me about what we do and see if it's a potential match for some of the challenges that you're dealing with? If I say no to that, it's a hit on who I am as a human. Right? It's my identity. Then I'm basically admitting I'm not open-minded, and nobody will admit to that. So it does transform. I work with a lot of salespeople, a lot of business leaders, a lot of entrepreneurs, and to the person, that "are you open to" phrase has transformed all of the conversations that follow it.
It's really interesting. I could see that. And funny enough, because you're like, I don't know where you went to school. I actually did go to Pepperdine.
Oh, well, there you
Didn't graduate from there. Well, didn't graduate from Pepperdine, but I went there for 1 year. And then I graduated from UT Austin. But that was where I went my freshman year in college. So funny enough, I was like, it's down the street.
Oh, that's so great.
Okay, so basically, because we talk about your brand, and if you're not working on it, it can still affect you. So how does your personal brand align with how you sell?
I think it's such an important question and thing to consider, because, when you are representing offers, solutions in the marketplace, people are, we're all overwhelmed with all the choices, and whether we consciously are aware of it or not, when something doesn't align, something is off in either the language or the branding, we pick up on it. And what it subconsciously tells us is, I am not sure I can trust this. So it lends to people, we've heard this for 1,000 years, right? People buy from people they know, like, and trust. You want to make sure that your brand is consistent with the trust that you want to build with a prospect or client. And so in fact, it was a really interesting exercise. I just went through this when I took over as CEO for SELLect Sales. So I had a different brand, and it was very much my personality. And then I had this opportunity to take over as CEO, and the brand at that time was very corporate. The colors, the way the website was laid out, the training materials, everything was very, IBM old school corporate. That is 100% not who I am. I'm a stand-up comedian is my hobby. I'm always smiling. I want people to see possibilities for themselves. And so my brand, it would have been inauthentic for me to just kind of pretend to be this, corporate trainer person.
Right.
It was more authentic to infuse that brand with my personality, my style. And when I went through that exercise, choosing colors and choosing styles and going for the photo shoot and how are my videos put together, you can see it really is more authentic to me as the face of that brand. And business has followed because there's a consistency.
Yeah. Well, it definitely, I mean, yeah, how you present yourself, and you're talking about, do people trust you? And then you went straight into know, like, and trust. And that's exactly what your brand does. It's this gut feeling of like, are they real? Are they truly representing themselves in an authentic way? Because if you're not, it shows.
And I think
for whatever's off, whatever isn't matched, and it could be not that you're not an authentic person, but you're not representing yourself correctly, and you're just like, something's off, and I don't know what it is, but it doesn't make me feel that easy, so I'm going to move on.
Exactly.
And you don't want that.
Right. And I think there's a lot of opportunities. So from a sales language, messaging, communication perspective, certainly you're communicating with your visuals, but you're also communicating with the words, the copy on your marketing messaging, what you say in a sales conversation, how you introduce yourself, all of those things are important. And so when you think about it, when you go to my website, you will find that it's written in a style that is very much who I am. You would see no difference in how I talk to people in the printed word, in my newsletters and emails and things like that, versus, as how I am in real life. I will crack a joke. I will make some sarcastic comment. I will find a funny way to, lighten the mood. I do that in every communication and even in my contracts, right? So my proposals have little things, language like, I know I have to have all the legalese part of a contract that we all have to have. But at the top of mine, it says, my attorney made me put all of this in because that's consistent with my brand. Like, okay, let's all just take a breath. It's just a bunch of legal stuff. Don't worry about it. Right? Like,
Yeah.